Hello and welcome, Simon's Trading Channel. Happy Thursday to you. Welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time. I hope you're all well and you've enjoyed your Thursday as we edge ever closer to the end of the week and what will be another weekly closure. And I've got some thoughts on that, which I'll share with you in a moment. Time to dive straight in with the price action analysis. Here we go, Bitcoin on a daily. So with 5 hours left on this candle here, this daily candle, it still hasn't closed below, what was that, Tuesdays or Wednesdays? Tuesday's daily wick low. And that's fairly significant, although I don't think it on its own is suggestive of any kind of change in this daily downtrend, but it's certainly got support here around about the middle of the overall range that I've got here as a channel across the middle of the screen. The other two blue lines that you see are just obviously a trend line, just picking out the slope really, and then the key line that I've talked about a few times now at 67.5, roughly there, above which on daily closures you'd start to think that this indeed wasn't in itself a downtrend and more of a pullback within the overall uptrend. And then, if Bitcoin did manage to get back up into these areas, definitely on a weekly closure, then this would look like a weekly higher low, and that would certainly have the etchings for more upside, more meaningful upside, and you never know, maybe a break for the top of the range, because let's face it, this range has outstayed its welcome, and that's the nicest way I could put it, because I believe that Bitcoin is currently in its 16th. See, I'm losing count now. Even if you don't count the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is the 15th week. My channel wasn't running during this period. That would have been, wow. That would have been a challenge. But I enjoy doing these videos, and I hope you enjoy them too. And indeed, if you do, please like and subscribe. So we don't really need to focus on the weekly for any longer than I have. And I think what I'll do now is just jump down. Let's just check on the daily momentum again. What's happened to the MACD? Where have you gone, MACD? Ah, there you are. As if by magic, it just appeared. I paused the video there in case you hadn't realised. The daily momentum is still to the downside. You can see that yourself. And it hasn't really shown any etchings of turning back up yet. The 4 hour I did allude to yesterday. So if I drop down to the 4 hour chart, you can quite clearly see the support that Bitcoin's getting. And this is gradually making its way back up to the zero line, which could prove to be significant. Oh, pardon me. But certainly, I think it's very likely that even if momentum was to shift on the 4 hour, and at the moment that shifting point is 68, probably like 68.5, but if and when the MACD gets close to the zero line, that number will come down, and I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being somewhere around sort of 67. But so if and when, so two huge caveats: the momentum shifts on the 4 hour, with enough then follow through, you'd expect the daily to switch as well. And if you get momentum switch on the 4 hour and daily, then that would be all of the main time frames, because the weekly is still very much in a momentum to the upside. You'd think there'd be the Bitcoin would at least try for another assault on the all-time high at that point. Clearly that's not where things lie at the moment, and so yeah, I still do have to have a bit of a downside bias. What I would say is, yeah, so the 4 hours sort of defining itself quite nicely in between 66,250 and pretty much the midpoint, call it 64.5. So a couple of $1,000 range there. And, you know, while price remains in between the two, then clearly that's just a sideways consolidation, but just on a very low time frame. If Bitcoin was going to bounce from here, as in use this midpoint as support, I'd want to see it move quite quickly, because in my humble opinion, but based on how Bitcoin behaves previously, if it starts to sort of do this, then I think it's more likely to break down. What would be much better would be a fairly swift move down followed by a fairly swift move back up, and then what would look amazing would be a retest of this area and then turning back up. So I think the longer that Bitcoin sort of grinds it out, you know, somewhere between, gotta stop saying, you know, such a UK thing, somewhere between 66,250 really, yeah, you know, roughly there, and the midpoint. The longer it stays down there, I think the more likely it will eventually break down. So, yeah. So you'd like to see it bounce sooner rather than later. And with today being, this is me sort of presuming that people are more interested in the upside. I certainly am. And you presume most people are. With today being, what is it? Thursday, yes, indeed. You know, close the week tomorrow. If nothing great happens tomorrow and then the weekend goes sideways, I think that Monday's probably the last chance for Bitcoin to bounce. But yeah, if the beginning of next week starts to go by and Bitcoin hasn't reclaimed probably this 67.5 area, then I think another move to the downside is very likely. That's of course, is contingent on it not already making another move down by that point, and the 4 hour and daily timeframes momentum is indeed to the downside. So yeah. What else do I want to say? Same targets as before, really, for if and when the next move does occur to the downside, and you can see them really well on the daily. So yeah, probably initially get some support around this sort of area. So just close 63. It's probably somewhere between 62.5 and 63. If that was broken, probably the last post would be around 60,000 really. If we start getting daily and definitely weekly closures below there, I'd say the bottom of the range would be in jeopardy. Yeah. Okay, there we go. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if indeed you have, thanks for joining me again, and please like and subscribe, and indeed come back tomorrow because I'll be doing another one. Take care. Enjoy what's left with your Thursday, and I'll see you tomorrow for Friday's price action. That'll be weekly closure on CME. Bye bye.